After listening to the podcast for this week, things that stood out to me as I listened was how important communication is when working with um, clients who speak another language, learning how to break up translation when using translators, like breaking up sentences, and also looking for nonverbal reactions. Um, and breaking up the sessions, like how many times you may possibly meet. Um, uh, what responsibilities do we have as counselors to be able to communicate with clients who speak another language? Um, I think paying attention to the nonverbal cues is very important. I noticed that when I am working with students at the high school, how important it is just even their facial expressions after, just for example, we've been registering for next year. If they seem to be confused, then I spend more time with them going through the curriculum book. Um, Probably not something that I would do with a student that can speak fluent English. So I think taking more time is also very important. And just noticing that the students may not understand, or clients in that case. Making sure what is being translated is actually what the leader means to interpret. So if the leader of a group is using a translator or of an individual session, just to make sure that the client is receiving the exact information that's being interpreted. I think that's very important so that information is not skewed. What can all counselors do to be more welcoming to persons who speak a different language? I think just making sure that information that can be handed out is in their language. So for Spanish speaking clients or students, just making sure that um, just for instance, confidentiality forms are translated, um, any worksheets that are handed out are translated. That will also make them feel more comfortable. Um, and taking the time to speak with clients is also important. I think I mentioned that already. But um, what are the benefits of being able to speak a client's native language? Um, in the podcast, the lady that was speaking said mentioned feelings of humbleness, connecting with people and the families that can understand what is being said. I think from my point of view, it provides a sense of comfort and safety. Um, Also mentioned in the podcast was speaking the native language can affect how we diagnose clients and how we understand their background. Saving time when having individual or group sessions. Speaking the native language, you wouldn't have to use a translator, so that would definitely save some time and probably be able to get individual sessions and group meetings complete probably at normal times. Um, I think that's also just something important as well. And another benefit is having participants interact more with each other and the leader or the counselor. So I think it's just a sense of comfort and safety. But I think overall the podcast really made me think a little bit more. Being or learning more about multicultural counseling, and then group counseling is something that I try to focus more on, especially now that we're doing our internship and some of us are already working in the school, so or in the counseling field. So I just think that's something that I want to focus more on. So I really like this podcast for this week.